Welcome back for our Onshape tutorial 9. Today we'll be working on work features. This one is very different than the tutorial, and there's a lot of things that Onshape isn't capable of doing, so please pay close attention. I've already right-clicked here and opened in a new tab to open my work block and already logged in and made a copy. So if you'll go ahead and do that, we can then begin editing and adding those work features to this document. The first thing we're going to want to do is create a point right here. You can't do that unless you're in a sketch. So we'll create a sketch here on this surface, and then we'll choose our work point option. Hover until it snaps and click. The next part of the assignment says to create a work axis. Work axes are not an option in Onshape. If this were Inventor, you would be able to just drop this menu down and choose axis and then pop it in the center here and it would snap. However, we don't have the capabilities to do that. However, I am going to start a sketch here on this surface and then add a work point to the center so I can use it later. So do add a center point here on the top of the cylinder so you can come back and use it later. The same thing applies for the work axis here. We can't add a work axis there, so we'll skip over that. And then again, with this point to this point, we can't add a work axis there. Now we're down to work planes. The first thing we want is a work plane going through the center of this. So we're going to choose work plane. We'll drop this menu button down and choose a plane point. So we're going to choose a plane we want it to be parallel to, and then the point we want it to go through. So we want our work plane to go this direction. So I will choose this front work plane, and then I will choose this center point to put it through the center. We're then going to put a work plane between these two edges here. So I'll choose work plane. And we're just going to keep it under offset and choose this and this edge. And click your green check. That one didn't seem to work, which means one of my options is wrong. I'm going to try this. That one didn't work. We'll do line angle. So that one does accomplish the task. So this line to this line, and click your green check. Again, we're under line angle. So as you can see, sometimes the first attempt doesn't work, and you can move it a little bit so you can see that it does touch those two edges. Sometimes the first attempt doesn't work, so do just click around until it does what you want it to do. Now we're going to choose work plane again. This time we're going to choose the 3-point method. We'll click this point here, this point here, and then this point here. Click your green check and you'll see that it put it like that. The next option is a tangent work plane, which isn't an option for us. And this time that work plane is supposed to go in this direction, be parallel to this right. So I'm going to choose work plane and we're going to do a plane point again. We want it to be parallel to this one and go through this one. And then we'll do another work plane that we want to be offset from this plane that we just created. The distance is roughly 0.75, so I'm going to do negative 0.75 so that it goes the opposite direction, or you can just change your arrows. Either way works. So if I do 0.75 and I just change the arrow direction, you'll see that it goes this way. And it does line up pretty well to be tangent. The next thing we want to do is an angled work plane off of this surface here. So I'm going to choose work plane. I'm going to choose this top edge right here. And I'm going to choose line angle as an option. We want the angle to be 45 degrees, like that, and you'll see this one populated right there. Keep in mind you can always resize them like this by just grabbing them like an image you would have in a Google Doc or something. And then our last step is going to be creating an offset work plane, which we have used. So we're going to choose a work plane. We want it to be parallel to this surface here. We want it to have a negative 0.8 distance. So you can either do negative 0.8 here, like that, sorry, like that, or you can just type 0.8 and change the direction of the arrow. And click your green check. Once you do that one, you have completed all of the work features. So just keep in mind that Onshape does not have work axes. So sometimes you have to manipulate it a bit and use things like points and work planes going through those points to get the additional work planes that you need. So yours should look something like this. Whenever you're completed, you'll click the blue share button and upload this link to the assignment.